new school year opens with nothing but promise. And when I was in the 5th grade, Mr. Gillen was the janitor, the custodian of my elementary school. And he was a great guy, a really tall, skinny guy, mid-60s, white hair. He had a raspy voice from 50 years of smoking cigarettes, but he could fix anything, from the ancient boiler in the basement to a leak in the roof and everything in between. Mr. Gillen kept that school running. Plus, he was unofficially the chief morale officer for the school. And you may have known somebody like him. I mean, seemingly always in a good mood, a perpetual smile on his face, always ready to laugh and with a story or a joke. And he loved talking to people. And he talked to everybody in that school, not just the adults. He went out of his way to talk to the kids. And he always seemed to know which child may have needed a special word of encouragement that day. So he was a wonderful guy, an important part of that school community. So at the beginning of my 5th grade year, his wife died, and we didn't see him for a while. And at the same time, the same month, the school PTA was offering dancing lessons. Now, this was in the early 1960s, and members of the PTA were apparently concerned that the contemporary dance styles lacked elegance. With the twist, the mashed potatoes, the frug. And so on Friday nights that fall, from 6:30 to 8 p.m., the 5th through 8th graders of Lincoln School would have the opportunity to learn the waltz, the foxtrot, and cha-cha, thereby preserving Western civilization. I'll never forget that first dancing lesson. We boys were lined up in the back of the hall, lined up here. The girls were sitting along the side of the auditorium waiting for their chance. And the dance instructor would actually just walk us through the footwork for each dance. And the steps for the waltz are fairly simple. You start with your feet together. I know these are my hands. This is just for demonstration purposes. Start with your feet together. And on the count of 1, boys always lead with their left. We would step to the left. And on the count of 2, we were told to put our right foot slightly ahead of and to the right of our left foot. And on the count of 3, our left foot would glide, not slide, it was a waltz, would glide to our right foot, and we're back at the starting position. So it was 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. Well, we 1, 2, 3, pause from one end of that hall to the other, and we're about to 1, 2, 3, pause our way back, but this time to music. One of the mothers put on Patti Page's The Tennessee Waltz on the record player, and the instructor was counting cadence for us. 1, 2, 3, pause. I can't dance anymore. 1, 2, 3, pause. And we're looking at our feet. 1, 2, 3, pause. And suddenly we could hear someone singing along with Patti Page, a man's voice. It got louder and louder. And Mr. Gillen emerged from the stairwell leading to his basement workshop. And he looked a little bit disheveled. He needed a shave. And he was dancing and singing to an invisible partner. And when he turned, we could see a flask, a bottle of Old Granddad sticking out of his pocket. Now, the parents in the room understood exactly what was going on, and several fathers rushed to Mr. Gillen to usher him out of the room. And one of the mothers took the needle off the record player to stop the music. Mr. Gillen, he just kept going. He was oblivious to their concerns. His eyes were closed, and he was still singing and dancing, and just holding on to that invisible partner. I remember the night and the Tennessee waltz. Now I know just how much I have lost. He opened his eyes and said no one in particular. That was our song. She used to love to dance Tennessee waltz. 2 of the fathers took Mr. Gillen to his home, and before the dance lesson resumed, I heard one mother say to another, it was a shame that we children had to be subjected to such a disgraceful display. And I get that, I do, but I'm really proud of how we kids reacted that night. I mean, a room full of 10, 11, and 12-year-olds, and nobody giggled or pointed or laughed. We may not have understood exactly what was going on, but we did understand that this kind man was suffering. We had gone there to learn how to dance. Instead, we were learning that life promises deep mystery. There is joy and suffering, love and loss. And these are the very reasons why we need to dance with those we love while we can.